Can you collect Social Security while living abroad? The short answer is yes, but there's a lot of fine print that the government doesn't exactly advertise. In this video, I'm breaking down everything you need to know about receiving your Social Security benefits while living overseas. We're covering which countries allow payments, tax implications, how Medicare works abroad, and the mistakes that can get your benefits suspended. If you're planning to retire internationally, this information could save you thousands. Let's get into the details. Picture this: you've finally retired. The daily grind is behind you, and you're ready to enjoy life. Maybe you're dreaming of the beaches of Portugal, a quiet village in Italy, or a tropical home in Costa Rica. But one big question stops you. Can I still collect my Social Security if I move abroad? For millions of Americans, the answer is life-changing, because yes, you can absolutely receive your monthly benefits outside the US, but how you do it and where you live makes all the difference. Let's start with the basics. Step 1. Can you receive Social Security abroad? If you're a U.S. citizen, the Social Security Administration will generally send your payments to almost any country in the world. There are only a handful of exceptions, mainly places where U.S. law restricts financial transactions, like North Korea or Cuba. That means if you're planning to live in Europe, Latin America, or Asia, your monthly benefit can still arrive in your bank account on time, just as it would back home. However, here's the catch. Where you live and how long you stay outside the U.S. can affect your payments. If you're living abroad for more than 30 consecutive days, you're considered outside the U.S. for Social Security purposes. Once that happens, you'll need to make sure your country of residence is approved for payment and that you meet the rules for continued eligibility. You'll also be required to fill out a form each year called the Foreign Enforcement Questionnaire, which confirms you're still alive and eligible. Miss that form, and your payments could be suspended until it's resolved. Step 2. How you'll receive your payments. The easiest way to receive your benefits abroad is through direct deposit. The Social Security Administration has partnered with hundreds of banks around the world through something called the International Direct Deposit (IDD) program. This allows your monthly payment to go straight into your local bank account, often in the local currency, saving you the hassle and cost of international transfers. If your country doesn't support the IDD program, you can still have your payments deposited into a U.S. bank account and simply withdraw funds abroad using your debit card. It's not as seamless, but it works for many retirees. Just make sure your U.S. bank doesn't charge excessive foreign transaction fees. Those can add up quickly over time. Step 3. Taxes and Social Security abroad. Here's something most people don't realize. Your Social Security benefits are still taxable, even if you're living overseas. The IRS taxes Social Security the same way it would if you were living in the U.S., based on your total income. But the good news is, if you're living abroad and have little or no other income, your tax liability might be very low, or even zero. There's also something called a tax treaty between the U.S. and many other countries, which can help you avoid double taxation. For example, if you move to Portugal, Spain, or Germany, those countries have agreements with the U.S. that determine how your benefits are taxed. In some cases, you'll only pay U.S. taxes. In others, the foreign country taxes your benefits, but the U.S. gives you credit for it. So before you move, it's essential to check if your new country has a tax treaty with the U.S., because that can drastically affect how much you keep from your monthly payments. And one more tip: make sure to keep filing your U.S. tax return every year, even while living abroad. It's required for all U.S. citizens, and failing to do so can create serious problems with your benefits later. Step 4. What about non-citizens? If you're not a U.S. citizen, but you worked in the U.S. long enough to qualify for benefits, you might still be eligible to receive them abroad, but it depends on your country of citizenship. The U.S. has totalization agreements with about 30 countries, including Canada, the UK, Germany, and Australia. These agreements allow the Social Security systems to coordinate, meaning your years worked in the US and abroad can sometimes be combined to qualify for benefits. If you're from a country without one of these agreements, your payments could stop after you've been abroad for 6 months, unless you return to the US or a country that does have an agreement. Step 5. Medicare, the big catch. This is where many retirees get caught off guard. Medicare, unfortunately, does not cover medical expenses outside the United States. Period. Even if you paid into the system your whole life, once you're living abroad, you can't use it. That means you'll need to plan for health coverage separately. The good news? Many countries have excellent and affordable healthcare systems, far cheaper than the US. For example, a routine doctor visit in Portugal or Thailand might cost $30–50 out of pocket. Many American retirees choose to buy local private insurance, which can run anywhere from $100 to $300 per month, depending on the country and your age. In some countries, like Spain or Costa Rica, you can even join the public healthcare system once you become a resident. However, even though you won't be using Medicare abroad, it's still smart to keep paying for Part A and sometimes Part B if you think you might return to the US later. If you drop your coverage, you could face penalties and delays when re-enrolling. Step 6. Countries where you can collect easily. Now let's look at some of the most popular countries for Americans retiring abroad, where collecting your Social Security is easy, reliable, and tax efficient. 1. Portugal, a favorite for retirees because of its safety, affordability, and tax-friendly rules. Social Security payments are easily transferred, and healthcare is world-class. 2. Spain allows direct deposits and retirees can qualify for residency through modest income requirements. You can enjoy a European lifestyle for a fraction of US costs. 3. Mexico, close to home, low cost of living, and fully compatible with US payments. Many retirees stretch their Social Security checks much further here. 4. Costa Rica, no restrictions on US payments and great private healthcare. A peaceful, nature-filled retirement spot with an expat community everywhere. 5. Panama, known for its retiree-friendly visa, which requires proof of income, and your Social Security check qualifies. Banking and deposits are smooth thanks to the US dollar. 6. Thailand, affordable healthcare, welcoming culture, and low living costs. You'll need to maintain a local bank account for visa purposes, but collecting benefits is simple. 7. Italy. You can receive payments easily, and tax treaties help prevent double taxation. Perfect for retirees chasing culture and history. 8. France allows payments, though taxes are higher. Great healthcare system and strong expat support networks. 9. Colombia, one of the most affordable retiree destinations. The US has no issues transferring payments there, and the cost of living can be half of what it is in the States. 10. Philippines. Payments are allowed and English is widely spoken. It's an extremely low-cost option for retirees on smaller benefits. If you're planning long-term residency, always check with the federal benefits unit in your region before you move. They handle all Social Security issues for Americans abroad. Step 7. How much you need to live comfortably. Here's the beauty of retiring abroad. Your dollar stretches much further. If your average Social Security check is around $1,900 per month, that might not go far in the US, but in places like Mexico, Portugal, or Thailand, it can cover housing, food, healthcare, and entertainment comfortably. In many parts of Europe and Latin America, couples live well on $2,500 to $3,000 per month, and that includes rent and healthcare. The key is researching the cost of living before you move and building a realistic monthly budget that includes healthcare, taxes, and travel back to the US. Step 8. Mistakes that can cost you. Before you pack your bags, here are some mistakes that can suspend or reduce your benefits. Moving to a restricted country. The US can't send payments to places like North Korea or Cuba. Ignoring the annual verification form. If you don't respond, your payments will stop. Not reporting life changes, marriage, divorce, or death of a spouse must be reported. Otherwise, overpayments or suspensions can happen. Banking issues, changing accounts or countries without updating your payment method can cause months of delays. Relying on Medicare. Remember, it doesn't work overseas. Always have a separate plan for health coverage. By staying on top of these details, you'll avoid costly interruptions to your benefits. Step 9. Planning your move strategically. If you're considering moving abroad on Social Security alone, Planning ahead is everything. Start by visiting your potential country for at least a few weeks. Talk to other expats, open a local bank account, and research visas for retirees. Many countries have special options for pensioners with guaranteed monthly income. Once you decide, notify the Social Security Administration about your move. They'll connect you with the regional federal benefits unit to ensure a smooth transition. It's also wise to keep a U.S. mailing address and a trusted friend or relative who can handle any correspondence while you're away. Step 10. The real benefits of retiring abroad. Beyond the numbers and paperwork, retiring abroad can transform your life. Imagine lower stress, better weather, affordable healthcare, and a culture that values community and leisure over constant work. That's what draws so many retirees to this path, the freedom to finally enjoy life without the crushing expenses of the U.S. You might find yourself living in a seaside apartment, strolling through fresh markets, and meeting people from around the world, all while still receiving your Social Security each month. And the best part? You're not giving up your American benefits. You're simply using them in a way that allows you to live better for less. So, can you retire abroad on Social Security? Absolutely. But to do it right, you need to understand the rules, where payments are allowed, how taxes work, and how to plan your health care. If you prepare carefully, you can turn your Social Security check into the foundation of an entirely new life overseas, one filled with comfort, security, and adventure. Because the truth is, the world is bigger and often cheaper than you think, and your retirement years don't have to be defined by limits. With the right plan, they can be defined by freedom.